It is October 20th, 2010, and once again, Jobs has taken the stage. It hasn't even been 2 months since their music event, which I forget the name of that event already, but you get the point. I have a video on that if you're interested as well. Just search Apple event. Anyway, Jobs once again took the stage, but this time, this event is focused around the Mac platform. Thank you. It has been way too long since we've heard any Mac-related news in terms of a keynote because, quite frankly, honestly, for the past 2 years or so, or 3 years, or maybe 4 years by now, I think it's 3, everything has been focused around the iPhone, iPod Touch, and the iPad, of course, which are all wonderful devices. They do great things, and they're huge successes for Apple, and I'm very happy for them. The first thing Apple announced was retail stats, sales stats, all that good stuff. I don't have any exact numbers for you guys, but I'm sure you can find it in press releases. You know, of course, they're making millions of dollars usually, as usual, off the iPhone and iPod Touch and the App Store and the iPad and all that good stuff, which is awesome for Apple. But let's get down to the greatest announcement of this event, in my opinion, and that is iLife 11. The first thing Jobs showed is iPhoto 11, which I gotta be honest, I wasn't blown away, but then again, I'm not a huge iPhoto user. I mainly care about iMovie, which I'll be talking about in 2 minutes. So, with this new iPhoto 11, we have new full-screen modes, which look exactly like the iPad iPhoto interface. Although they call it Photos on here, they don't call it iPhoto. But it looks just like the Photos interface on the iPad, whereas you have, Photos in stacks, and you see them in full-screen view. Go to apple.com/iPhoto for a better, explanation. And of course, they have better Facebook enhancements, which is awesome news because Apple really cares about social media. And you guys know I love my social media, so I'm glad to see Apple taking a step forward in that. Emailing photos is now easier than ever. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of tech support for my family and friends. And now and then they're like, David, how do I email a photo? Why isn't it easy enough? Well, this finally makes it very easy. You don't even have to leave the iPhoto application, which is awesome. You can email your photos directly within iPhoto. Will I be using that feature? Probably not, because I like to manually use Mail.app, and I'm a big fan of Mail.app, but still, this is a great feature for those less experienced users, to put it nicely, I guess. And finally, we have new slideshow effects, which mimic kind of the new Apple TV slideshow effects, as well as some brand new ones that I have never ever seen before, even on the Apple TV. And a big leap in photo books. Yes, I do have notes under the camera in case you see me looking down. As you may know or may not know, Apple is very successful in creating photo books via their iPhoto application. You can actually create photo books there. They print them, then they send them to you, and it's actually a great time to do photo books right now. Apple couldn't have announced iPhoto 11 at a better time with the holidays coming up, so it's a great gift idea for those wondering. And finally, we have letterpress cards, which look pretty interesting. Again, all this stuff can be found on apple.com. Okay, so now let's talk iMovie. This is easily my favorite highlight of the keynote, and I'm about to explain to you why, so prepare for a nerdgasm here and there. First up, all new audio editing. I can't even talk, I'm talking too fast. Anyway, you can finally edit the audio waveforms again, just like in iMovie 2006. They finally brought that to iMovie 11. It only took them 4 or 5 years or so, but hey, it's back, and that's all I care about. One-step effects, so you can finally apply audio effects again to people's voices, make them sound like Darth Vader or like a mouse on speed, which is pretty cool for those fun type videos. People Finder, I believe this automatically senses faces, kind of like an iPhoto. Don't quote me on that, but I just watched a keynote literally like 20 minutes ago, so this is still kind of new in my head. News and sports scenes, which look nice. And movie trailers, I have a note on my document here, but I cannot say it out loud. Basically, it says effing epic, because movie trailers... Okay, nerdgasm time. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge fan of iMovie, and I'm a huge fan of Symphony, like, movie soundtracks, Star Wars, all those awesome themes, and classical music, Final Fantasy. And to combine the worlds of video editing and Symphony, bam, and you have the new iMovie trailers. These look amazing. I literally had goosebumps all up and down my body. I don't know if you needed to know that, and if you're picturing me right now. Anyway, the point is I had chills. The music they include seriously feels like real movie music like you see in trailers. So now it's easier than ever to create trailers for your videos. So I'm thinking of making a trailer for my YouTube channel, just to, do an overview of like, hey, I do family videos, I do tech videos, reviews, unboxings, geocaching, tech surveys, geek updates, which hopefully I'm going to do again soon, and all that good stuff. So maybe I will use this feature. Actually, I probably will use this feature because it just looks downright epic, and I try not to overuse the word epic. So there's iMovie. I'm not going to waste your guys' time too much, so just go to apple.com/iMovie for more information. Next up is GarageBand 11. Gotta be honest, I'm not a huge GarageBand person, but here we go. Flex time, groove matching, as they explained it. Groove matching is automatic spell check for bad rhythm, which is pretty funny. And of course, we have more guitar amps and effects as always, new piano and guitar lessons, on all that good stuff. So check it out. And in terms of iDVD and iWeb, they didn't even talk about it in the keynote. I'm assuming they applied some updates here and there, but in case you didn't know, iDVD, while it's a nice application, it's kind of dead because we're kind of moving away from physical medium. So, I don't know what happened there. And finally, iLife is available today. It's free with every new Mac, so if you're buying a MacBook today, then you're going to get it for free, obviously. But the upgrade price is just $49, which is nothing considering what I do. I'm definitely going to be buying iMovie, iLife 11 for iMovie. For that feature alone, it's worth $49, I think. The iMovie updates are amazing. I seriously cannot wait to use it. Let's talk about FaceTime. FaceTime is available for the iPhone. Well, not this one. This is a 3GS. For the iPhone 4, iPod Touch 4th generation, which is right here. It's amazing. And finally, they're bringing FaceTime to the Mac. I believe it's going to be part of Lion, but they're releasing the beta available today at apple.com, which is pretty amazing of them to do that. Basically, what FaceTime allows you to do is, well, video chat between your Mac and iOS devices. So no longer do you have to do this all the time from iPod Touch to iPod Touch or iPod Touch to iPhone 4. Now you can do it from iPod Touch to Mac, Mac to iPod Touch, Mac to iPhone 4, iPhone 4 to Mac, iPhone 4 to iPod Touch, or blah, 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 blah. And of course, as mentioned, that it's available today, so go and download it. It's free. Alright, so now let's talk about the highlight of the event. It wasn't the highlight for me, because my highlight was iMovie 11, just like I said. But this was definitely the highlight of the event. macOS 10 10.7 Lion is official. The King of the Jungle is here, and I think this is the last version of OS 10 we'll see until OS 11, because if they're going with the whole Lion thing, King of the Jungle, this might be King of the OSs. So here we go. First announced is the Mac App Store. Yes, they're finally bringing the iOS App Store over to the Mac, but for Mac apps, obviously. This allows us to download and update apps much easier than manually going to developers' websites, companies' websites. I gotta be honest, right away I was like, I don't want that kind of restriction. However, don't be alerted here. The Mac App Store is just an alternate way of downloading your app. So you don't have to use the App Store because you know Apple's going to have some kind of restrictions here and there. So the App Store is just an alternate way of downloading apps easier. And what's nice is it tells you when there's an update out for certain apps, just like in the iOS App Store, which is pretty nice that we don't always have to do check for updates or stuff like that. So the App Store will now do this for you. And I hope this brings the iPhone, the iPhone and iPod Touch App Store over to the Mac App Store. That way they take it out of iTunes. Because when I think of iTunes, I think of music and media, not apps. So we'll see. Next up is Launchpad. This is kind of like a full screen grid of apps. It looked exactly like a stack. So I don't know how that really differs in terms of a stack in Snow Leopard or Leopard. Was that New in Leopard? I believe it was New in Leopard. But basically, if you drag your applications folder down to your dock, you can get a full screen grid view. That's exactly what Launchpad is. However, Launchpad kind of makes it easier. It's very similar to iOS. You can swipe between pages and app folders and all that stuff. Basically, it's what the iOS interface is, but on the Mac. So they're definitely doing that circle thing where they had the Mac, the iPhone, the iPad, and now they're going back to the Mac. So now it's all one big circle. You guys know I love my metaphors. Next up is Mission Control. This is easily my favorite feature of Lion that we've seen so far. Mission Control is a one-stop shop, kind of like a one view of everything. This means Expose, dashboard, your desktop, your dock, everything. Right now, if I activate Expose, I see just my apps and not my widgets in dashboard. And then I have to go down the dashboard to see my widgets. But I can't access my windows behind dashboard without clicking outside of dashboard. But now what Mission Control allows you to do is you see this nice sexy view, and yes, I just said sexy. You see this nice sexy view of everything. your widgets, your folders, your windows combined together like Safari. If you have 3 Safari windows, they're all on top of each other. Then you have your other apps on the side, your widgets. Everything is in one view, and this looks pretty damn nice. At first, I was like, why do I need this? But then, of course, when they showed the demo, I was like, okay, I need this. And that is the preview of Lion. Of course, they're not going to show us too much because Lion is not available until summer of 2011, which is actually closer than I thought it would be. I was expecting a later release date, but hey, this isn't like Apple to announce a new OS right before Christmas. They usually do this in the summer during WWDC, but I'm not complaining. So it's going to be available. Of course, we don't have a price yet, but it will definitely be available summer 2011, or at least that's what they say. But what's even cooler is the Mac App Store is available within 90 days for Snow Leopard users like myself and most of you guys out there. So this means we do not have to wait until Mac OS X Lion to use the new Mac App Store. So that's really cool. Within 90 days though, so don't expect it for a little while. It's October 20th now. We'll likely see it in, I guess, January, right after Christmas. At least I'm guessing. And as always, there is one more thing. Apple announced the new MacBook Air. At first, Steve Jobs kind of teased us saying that they want to take the MacBook Air and combine it with the iPad. And I was thinking, are they finally going to make a real tablet notebook where it's a notebook, but then like the Windows PC tablets where you can fold them and then flip them over and then it's just a flat screen, touch screen? I thought that's what they were going to do with the MacBook Air, but they don't really need to do that because they already had the success of the iPad, and yeah. So basically what the MacBook Air is it's completely flash storage. As always, Apple is ahead of the game and dropping the standard. There is no hard drive, no optical drive. The MacBook Air is now completely flash storage. This means it's more reliable, it's instant on, it's up to 2 times faster, 90% smaller and lighter, and overall it's just a better and faster machine. And now they have 2 models. 11.6-inch model sells for $999, which isn't that bad considering what the MacBook Air started out as. I was never a big fan of the Air, but now I gotta say it's a pretty nice computer, and it's definitely the future of what's coming. Apple is also selling a 13.3-inch model for $1299. Oh, and I also have to mention the flash storage is not in like an enclosure. It's actually embedded into the logic board, just like the iPad design is. So this does mean it's instant on, and load times are going to be extremely fast. And that is available today, which I didn't really expect. So go and buy one if you want one. I won't be getting one because I don't really need one, and I don't have the money for that. Unless some Apple reseller sees this and wants to send me one for review. Hint, hint. No? Hey, I tried. Now, I didn't go over all the specs of the MacBook Air because I don't want to bore you guys. That stuff you can see at apple.com. So just go to apple.com and see the specs. It's pretty impressive. 0.68 inches thin at the thickest point, which is pretty impressive, and it weighs just 2.9 pounds. Just as a side note. So, what are my thoughts of this event? I thought it was pretty good. Apple showed more of Lion than I expected. We didn't see anything truly revolutionary, but keep in mind, we have between October and summer. Just think of what Apple can do between now and then. We're in store for some incredible things. Apple has never really let me down in terms of OS updates. Leopard to Snow Leopard wasn't a huge update for the user. It was more under the hood stuff, but at least they added some nice stuff, and it was cheap too. So I'm hoping this is the kind of leap we saw from Tiger to Leopard or Panther to Tiger. In other words, big updates, new features, and hopefully a refined interface. It's getting kind of old. I mean, it's working and it looks great, but I'm always up for an interface change. You know me, I love my UI. So guys, that is it. What was your favorite part of the keynote? Mine was definitely iMovie 11. I'm actually going to buy it. Well, iLife 11, I should say. I'm definitely going to buy it right after stopping my camcorder. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, make sure you leave your favorite part of the keynote in the comments, because I'm always interested from hearing you guys. And as always, check out TechSocial.com, Facebook.com/DavidDeFranco, Twitter.com/DavidDeFranco, TechSocial.com/GoDaddy, TechSocial.com/Squarespace, and TechSocial.com/video, TechSocial.com/Galerian. If I do one more TechSocial.com, my head's going to fall off. So that is it, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.